Hey everyone. Hopefully you've enjoyed the first couple of episodes of this podcast we have called Offloading with Dafydd James. We're at the sort of mid part of the review of the 2001 Lions tour, and we can't really go much further without talking a little bit about some of the controversies around that tour and some of the newspaper headlines that weren't about rugby, perhaps. David, how you doing?
I'm all right, thank you, Paul. Yeah,
Good,
you're looking
good.
well.
Good. Stop. 1997, I think for me is deeply embedded in most rugby fans' minds for a few things really. The win, the fact that we managed to beat the South Africans, but also the Jim Telfer, "This is your Everest, boys," kind of motivational talks that I think still give people a chill when they see them. Was there any Everest moments in 2001, or was Graham a much more sort of calculated, less emotional character?
Yeah, he's less emotional. You know, you needed your Jim Telfer type of person really to set the tone. Sometimes we had Andy Robinson, who wasn't a big speaker, to be quite honest with you. He'd F and Jeff and, put your head in the fridge sort of thing. But, and then we had the Phil Larder defensive coach then, who was a bit of an eclectic taste, shall we say. But, he's from the rugby league background. So, no, we didn't really have, a massive motivational guy, apart from Steve Black, who was there. But, right. Unfortunately, some of the guys, it was a weird scenario because a lot of the England boys obviously wanted Clive Woodward at the time and different things. And, you just go with whoever's picked as the coach. You're on the trip and you just buy into it and the ethos, and that's what a team is. You buy into your coach, he's your leader, he's your captain or whatever, and you follow it. But, it was very strong opinions from some people and, very strong characters. And that was probably to our own detriment then in the end.
Yeah, it's the whole, certainly to the outside world, the PR around the Lions is these four countries come together as one, and you park all of your colloquial rivalries, and the lad that you were beating the hell out of at Twickenham or Murrayfield or the Arms Park 2 weeks earlier is going to be your best buddy for 6 weeks, and that's, I suppose, the beauty, isn't it, of the Lions? That's the ethos of the Lions, that strength from within. But it feels like you did the meet and greet. You had some incredible wins in the first 3 games. You win the first Test match, but then it feels like it kind of unravels a bit. Obviously, Matt Dawson's article comes out on the morning of the first Test match, I think. Where he's criticizing Graham Henry and others. How much of that were you exposed to as players?
Well, it was an internal. When we first got together, we created a code of conduct. And some players obviously didn't adhere to that, and it was that sort of murmuring going around that. They made it quite evident, the Matt Dawsons and Austin, that they wanted Clive Woodward there, and they didn't like Graham Henry's style and all these sorts of things. And it just played into the Australians' hands, really, and it caused a little bit of an internal sort of disruption, and we had to try and bring it back in. It was Donald Lenihan was our team manager at the time, and he was disappointed and he wanted to take action and make a statement, but it caused another problem on its own then with a couple of people that wanted to leave the tour if XYZ was going to get pulled from the tour. So it was a very awkward predicament to be put in, and the Aussies loved it really because it was exactly what they wanted. And all of a sudden we had this turmoil, and we had to try and build up this wall again around us to say, no, it's not affected us, but internally, it wasn't a happy camp then, wasn't it? And the whole world could see it. So
does everybody go back to their home nation then? Does everyone go, the English are moaning again? the Welsh boys kind of come back together and the Irish boys. Is that what happened?
It was look, as in any trip, you find your buddy, you stick with your buddies, and whatever. But yeah, it was awkward. You know, some people you quite openly say, like, you know, I didn't get on with them, and you know, the infiltrators, and for me it was like, oh, they're not my cup of tea. I'll just keep myself to myself. I'll go around with Billy Wiz and Johnny Wilkinson and them. So it wasn't like, you know, countries. It was just, you know, we were a team. We were there together to work together as a team, and you know, and that's what I was going to do. Is that, you know, I'm not that type of person and just stick. I'll fly between everybody. Really, it's not my thing just to go off in little cliques. You know what I mean?
We talked in the last episode about the start of the tour. It was a collective. By the end of the tour, it was sort of a group of individuals again.
Yeah.
Is that? Do you think that's reflected in the way that the team performed?
Yeah, a little bit. I think, you know, you could see it, the wheels just fell off. It was because of the intensity that Graham Henry put into it, and then Phil Larder wanted his bit. Phil Larder, and then Andy Robinson wanted his bit. So and then you had Steve Black. Then it was the fitness sort of overlook, if you like. Bless him, he's no longer here. He was trying to say, no, you need to manage this. You need to save the energy in there. But then, no, we need to go. So you're putting the engine through all 6 gears, and it's in sixth all the time rather than taking it down and coasting a little bit and saying, no, the hard work has been done. It's a matter about fine tuning and keeping what we've got here, and then finish it off. And you know, that lesson should have been learned from that, and especially in professional sport. But it was a matter of bang, keep on banging until, you know, few splinter groups went off there, and then they went to the press and done that, and then all of a sudden it looks as though we're not a team anymore. So
was it almost like pre-season after every game? Was it that, as you say, rather than fine tuning, you were, you know, constant?
We were going at it. You know, the contact we were doing, the tackling, you know, the defensive aspect. It was a lot of bone on bone. You know, I know a lot. You know, the boys were tired. And it was hard, and it was watching things, and then so you're like, whoa, mentally drained. You're mentally, you know, a lot of people say, well, yeah, you get paid to do that, but you know, if you're in that environment and it's the pressure from outside and everybody, your friends, the media, everything's on you. The world, you know, hundreds of thousands, millions of people are watching you. You know, and then all of a sudden the pressure starts coming in. Then, you know, we got cracks in the group. We're not watertight anymore. So
you had some, you know, all right, you had the Leicester Lip and Dawson go off and do their thing, but you had some big characters in that group. You had Quinnell and Johnson and Delalio and O'Driscoll. Did the big guys step up then and go, hang on, whoa, we need to come back together, or did it just everybody kind of go, I don't know where to go here?
I think we buried the Reds in the sand. I think everybody did. Buried their head. They didn't know how to react to it, really. It was not heard of before. I don't think any tour before or after has ever experienced that. I don't think, anyway. But and you're thinking, it just looks as though we're not together. You know, it looks as though we're not behind the coach. We're not behind the captain. We're not, you know, we all want to do our own thing, and we all want to be the main man sort of thing. And you know, the irony was the two that were shouting off weren't the main men, and perhaps that's why they didn't like it. I don't know, but you know, not taken away from the fact they're good players. It's not taken away from the fact that, but you know, they weren't performing on it, and that's the truth of the matter.
The next episode, we're going to talk about the 2025 squad and your thoughts on the balance there, and I guess there's a learning there, isn't there? Because it's not just about exceptional players. I remember talking to Tony Smith, the ex-Rhino, Leeds Rhinos coach, about his selection mentality. And it's, yes, you need people who work hard, but you also need, you know, that little bit of spark of genius. But is this as much about finding a group of people that are going to get on and work together as a team as it is about finding 30 exceptional players, do you think?
the difficulty is you have to have the right players. You've got to have a team ethos. You've got to have the dynamics of the team, right? And it's important to get the blend, because if you've got all self-centered players, it's never going to work. You have to have a balance, and I think they do. Well, they should do take it into consideration, because it's all part of. It's like when you've got a business, really. You might have someone who's very academic but can't converse with people, so you have to have a balance and get it right, really. And I think the dynamics are very, very important, because you're together a long time. And if it's not right, there's too many egos or there's too many self-centered people, then there's going to be a lot of friction. So it's about managing the people sort of aspect. The personal thing is the same in any walk of life. You have to get the dynamics right.
Just on that point, before we leave it, the book Offloading obviously is about your stellar rugby career, but it's also about the challenges you faced in managing that stellar rugby career and your own expectations and how that impacted on your mental health. What would you be saying to the 2025 Lions about managing their own mental well-being, because it is a long time away with people you don't necessarily know very well? What would you be saying to them?
Seize the opportunity, enjoy it, embrace it. You've worked exceptionally hard to get there, and I think just be mindful. I think there's a lot more support mechanisms in place, really, to distract you, to move you away from the intensity of the cauldron, the oven, sort of, and these guys are a bit more well versed, and like I said, there's the army of people that are going to go with them, and support mechanisms and different things. So it's a matter of control the controllables, but go easy and enjoy the experience. I think it's take a deep breath sometimes and pinch yourself and go, wow, look where we are. Yeah, 100%. Super.
In the next episode, we're going to talk about the 2025 Lions. We're going to talk about Dav's views on that, and of course, we have to talk about the lack of Welshmen in the team. But we'll reflect on that in the next episode. For now, thank you, Dafydd, so much for your time. I hope everyone's enjoyed this, and we'll be back with you again soon.
Thank you.